Hi everyone. So this is the first part of what will be a three-part candle review. So the reason that this is a three-part candle review is because this is a WoodWick Trilogy candle, meaning that there are technically three separate fragrances. It's tri-layered, so the first layer, which it's kind of hard to tell now that it's burning, but the first layer has its own separate fragrance. The second layer, same thing, and then the third layer, which is kind of the thick of the candle, is also a separate fragrance. So the fragrances for this candle are apple basket, spiced blackberry, and pumpkin butter. Now, in the haul video that I did following having purchased this candle, I talked a lot about Yankee and my love-hate relationship with Yankee because of performance issues, poor performance in the past. I was tempted by the 6 for $60 sale. Part of the reason was because there were 3 WoodWicks that I was interested in. This was one of them. And I thought to myself, well, you know, WoodWick, I believe, used to be its own company, so perhaps things are done a little bit differently. It's also not the paraffin wax, so I was hoping maybe Fragrance Throw would be better. I can tell you that right now I am not impressed. So this first part is going to be on the first fragrance, which is Apple Basket. Now, I would love to be able to go in depth with the fragrance and what I'm smelling. Unfortunately, I do not smell anything unless I am hovering about 3 to 4 inches above the candle. So for me, scent throw, that's a 0 out of 10. If I have to literally hover over the candle, and I made this joke in the haul video to the point of nearly singeing your nose hairs to get fragrance, that's a 0. I walking into the kitchen, I don't smell it. Sitting here a foot away from the candle, I don't smell it. I have to be hovering over it. So that is unfortunate. And right off the bat makes me almost consider running back to Yankee tomorrow morning to maybe see if I can just refund the 5 remaining candles, because I am just so tired of Yankee and Yankee's products, their other brands that they've acquired, having poor performance. I am so tired of it. And who knows, maybe as this starts to burn down, maybe I will smell something with the other layers, but I do not have high hopes. Now the fragrance itself, so I wrote down the notes, and the notes are crisp, I believe. Now I'm doing this from memory because they're on my phone, and if I typed them out in a message on my phone, and if I go to try to find that message, that email draft, it's gonna stop the video. But I believe the description was crisp orchard notes of apple, pear, and peach intermingle with floral nuances of lilacs and jasmine. I think that's how they worded it. Now apple, yes, I smell apple, and it's a sweet apple. It is not a tart apple. It's not a Granny Smith. I don't know that this is even really a Macintosh. This is almost like a Honeycrisp. It's sweet. And then I do get floral. I do get a lovely light floral. It is, I would say, more so the lilac than it is the jasmine. So this makes for an interesting fragrance combination, which is why I really wish it had throw. I really wish I didn't have to hover 4 inches above the candle to smell those notes, because they're great. They're fantastic in my opinion. This is unique. It is not really common in the mainstream of candles to have a apple lilac combination. Apple with like apple, how would I describe, oh my gosh, the word just completely got away from me. Oh, a blossom. It's not really like apple blossom. It's not that. It truly is like a sweet apple combined with a lilac. And that's so different because technically you're really talking about two different seasons there, right? Apple is fall, whereas lilac is more so springtime and summer. So it's really neat. It's really unique. I would love to be able to smell this. If this came in wax melt form, or this was something that I could purchase, like from a vendor and melt, I would do that. This is really neat. But I don't smell it. So I keep coming back to the number one, the thing that for me is the most important thing with candles, which is scent throw. I can buy an unscented candle from anywhere, right? I can go to Dollar Tree and buy an unscented candle. If it doesn't have throw, what's the point? Why am I paying for, so it's disappointing. Now, the other notes in here that it lists in the fruit category, which were pear and peach. I maybe get a touch of pear, but I do not get peach at all. Peach is very distinct in my opinion, and peach can fall into a couple of different categories. I've had peach that is super like sugary candy artificial, like almost like a peach rings candy type of smell. I've had peach that smells like cat urine. I've had peach that smells very authentic. I don't get any of those. I get no forms of peach in here. Like I said, maybe a little bit of a pretty authentic pear, if that's what I'm picking up, and maybe that's actually what that sweetness that I'm getting is. Maybe it's more so pear than it is like a sweet apple. The more that I think about that, the more I think, yeah, maybe that's actually the combination that I'm getting here, that's adding that that fresh sweetness to it. It might be that pear in combination with apple. Either way, it's lovely. And like I said, I do get a bit of jasmine, but more so the lilac. So in terms of burn, I will comment on that quickly. I've had this burning for 3 hours now. As I said, I blew it out a couple of times, or maybe I didn't say this yet. I blew it out a couple of times to trim the wicks. Not the wicks, not multiple, to trim the wick, because this is a single wick. I blew it out to trim the wick twice and then immediately relit it. The reason that I did that is because this flame, and I don't know if you can see, I'll bring you over to it. This flame is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches tall. Prior to having trimmed the wick, it was about 2 to 2.5 inches tall. It was like dangerously tall. So I trimmed it, and it's still very tall, and I think that might be part of the issue with the fragrance throw. I don't know, but I think that might be part of the problem, is that the wick or the flame is so tall and intense that I wonder if it's burning away some of the fragrance. I don't know if you can see this really well on the video. I can see it very well, like looking at it in person, but there is smoke coming off of it as well. I don't like that, because to me, that's telling me that this is a very sooty candle, that it's going to be very sooty. Now in terms of wax pool, you can see it's struggling a little bit on the left side. The wick is kind of hanging out just a touch to the right, and it's causing that wax on the left side to not melt completely. Now, with a normal wick, there's the ability to manipulate that a little bit, right? To kind of pull it over where it needs to be. with these WoodWicks, that is not really a possibility. So the burn is just, it is kind of what it is outside of trimming the wicks. I don't like candles that I have to babysit. If I have to blow something out and trim the wick and relight it, and you know, I don't like that. I don't mind trimming the wick once before I light it, but having to do this twice now within a period of 3 hours, and then as you can see, not having a full wax pool after 3 hours, it doesn't really bode well. Now it is kind of an hourglass shape, so perhaps as we get further down, this will improve because it won't be as wide, and that flame will be able to, you know, hit more of the wax and hopefully keep all of it melted. So we'll have to see how that goes, but that's where we're at with this candle. So now, one more thing I wanted to talk about real quick, the crackling. That's sort of the signature of WoodWick, right? That's what makes it special. It's nice. You can probably hear it a little bit here in the video. It's pleasant. It's enjoyable when I'm sitting here. I'm just prior to making the video, I was having a cup of tea, watching another YouTuber do a candle review. And it was nice having that in the background, right? Almost gives you the impression of like a crackling fireplace. Now, there were a couple of times today that I walked into the kitchen and I heard the crackling and my head was like going left to right, like, what is that? Because I'm not used to that noise, right? So it scared me a little bit. But I think, you know, as I kind of get used to hearing it and I know what it's coming from, that won't happen, hopefully. So that's about it. I will probably let this go for another hour, because I'll be up for another hour or so, and then I will blow it out and relight it in the morning, and we'll hopefully get down to that spiced blackberry, and I will do the second part of this review. I like to try to burn candles for about 4 hours because I do want to give it a chance to get a really good wax pool. Otherwise, I know we can have more issues with tunneling if we kind of light it for 45 minutes or an hour, hour and a half, and then blow it out right away. So I do try and give it like a full 3 to 4, maybe even 5 hours. So I'll give it another hour and blow it out, and then I will probably be back tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening with the review of spiced blackberry. All right. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is, or it's actually still morning of November 5th. It is the next day. This is the second part of what was going to be a 3-part WoodWick review, WoodWick Trilogy candle review. I'm doing this review with my little one on my lap because he is not ready to settle for a nap, and we need to go run a couple of errands. And when doing that, I'm pretty sure I'm going to take this candle back and exchange it. It is just as disappointing as it was last night, if not more so. So I am past the apple basket. And now it's burning into that blackberry spice, or that spiced blackberry. And I thought it would be impossible to say this, but it's even worse in terms of scent throw. We've gone from like 0 to almost in the negatives, because now even when I hover my nose over the candle, directly over the candle, I like almost don't get anything at all. It almost makes me wonder if the slight cinnamon note that I'm getting is maybe in my head. It is that faint. And that's also how I know that I'm past the apple basket, because I'm not even getting any of that apple or that floral anymore. I'm just getting this tiniest note of cinnamon, again, hovering directly over the glass, nearly singeing your nose hairs. Wow, is that disappointing. I was really hoping that it would improve, because there is cinnamon in the blackberry, the spiced blackberry, that's in the description. And I was thinking to myself, you know, it's hard to screw up cinnamon. Usually if there's cinnamon in something, you smell it. It's a pretty strong fragrance. It's a pretty strong scent oil. And there's no throw, none. Also, update on the wick and just in general the burn. The wick is still giving me problems. It still seems like kind of an outrageous flame here. And I've trimmed it again, and I've trimmed it low, like to the point of where I'm like, I don't even know if this is gonna light because I trimmed it so low. And then within about 45 seconds, it was back to being this 1.5 inch long flame. So I don't even know how that's possible. I can tell you that I would never purchase a WoodWick again for that reason. So I think I'm gonna exchange all of the WoodWicks that I bought. I think I'm taking all of them back. And I'm gonna have to exchange them for something else because I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna deal with this. Despite this outrageous flame, I'm still having an issue with wax pool. You can see, it's still not completely pulled out. I just don't even understand how that's possible. Yeah, this is unfortunate. I'm just not even going to waste my time or my money to see what happens when we get down to the pumpkin butter. It's just not worth it. So I apologize for not really finishing this review out, but it's just, it's too disappointing to continue. And you know, I think this is going to be the last time that I purchase from Yankee. I keep candles, I mean. I keep saying that, and then every 6 months or so, I get sucked back into the 6 for $60. But honestly, I think I'm done. This just isn't worth it. It's not even worth it at $10 a candle. Like I said in my the first part of this review, I can go to Dollar Tree and get an unscented candle, you know, for $1.25 now, whatever it is. I'm kind of done fooling around with this. So yeah, I think I'm gonna exchange all of my WoodWicks. If you are interested in purchasing this candle, maybe you're curious, you wanna try it out for yourself. Maybe you wanna like candle crock it and see if it does well. It is available for purchase, actually not on Yankee's WoodWick website. I couldn't find it there, but it is available for purchase at full price at Kohl's and Walmart. So it is not on sale or clearance at either of those places. I'm sure it will be as we get towards the end of fall. But right now it's full price at those places. Like I just couldn't even imagine like paying $34, $31, $30 for this candle, let alone, you know, I couldn't even imagine paying $10, let alone the $30 price point that it's at elsewhere. But if you're curious, it is available. It is out there. You can purchase it. That's about all I have to say. So, yep, I'm going to exchange this today when we run errands. I'm going to blow this out and give it a chance to cool, and then it's going back to the Yankee store, and I do not do that often. So that is really saying something. Okay, thank you for watching. I will probably light up maybe that 2-wick tumbler next and see if I have any decent performance with that. On a good note, a positive note, I did start melting the melt cup in Slopeside Spritz, and I am actually pleasantly surprised. So that is going to be a positive review. So it isn't all negative, it isn't all ranting. I know that Yankee can do, you know, they can do wax that throws because they can do it in the melts, but just not the candle. The candles have not improved clearly. So that's all I have to say about that. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.